Hello and welcome to the Nova Show Real Estate Records. I'm Tristan Hammett, your host for today's episode, and joining me is Joseph Tuenge. Joseph is a Utah-based real estate advisor known for his creative marketing, genuine client care, and ability to see potential where others don't. From stylish home makeovers to guiding buyers through competitive neighborhoods, he brings energy and insight. Today, we'll dive into his journey and what sets him apart in the Utah market and what he's watching for next. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome, Joseph. Joseph, do you go by Joe or Joseph?
Joseph.
Joseph. Okay, Joseph it is. All right, so I've never met you until about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get to know you. I'm very intrigued by you.
Okay.
That's like a word that comes to mind. You're kind of like this mysterious person to me. Like your marketing and everything is just, it's like beautiful and creative. That's another word that comes up to me. You're very creative.
Thank you.
So tell us about yourself. Where did you grow up? And then we'll kind of fast forward on how you got into the real estate world.
Yeah, I grew up in Nebraska, of all places. So small town Nebraska.
Nebraska?
Yeah. Midwest, flyover state. You stop in my little town for gas and keep going if you're lucky. But yeah, I grew up first job in the cornfields and driving tractors and all the things us Hicks do back there.
No way.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, small town guy, and just kind of always dreamed of going to the big city and doing big things. So I appreciate the small town. I appreciate the Midwest. I'd actually love to get land back there someday. Start a little homestead and live the simple life. But until then, I'll just do big things here.
Okay. So what brought you to Utah?
I bounced around a little bit, played football in Nebraska. That's our religion there, right? So went to college, played D2 football, realized I wasn't going pro by any means. So jumped over to Arizona just because I was looking for any sort of get out, and stayed there for, about a decade or so
What area?
in Scottsdale.
Okay. We'll talk about
So that was fun. Learned a lot, but learned that I also needed my 4 seasons back. Met my wife, and that was kind of part of our deal. As soon as we get married, we're out of Arizona. We're going to pick anywhere on the map, and we actually picked Fort Collins, Colorado. We thought it was close enough to Nebraska, but far enough away. Right. So cool little college town. We started a brand agency. My wife actually does she does all the branding for me. So
okay.
it's a nice little hookup I have. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. She does an amazing job.
Yep. So
Okay.
her little niche that we got into was working with all the beauty agencies. And sure enough, we started getting into it, and we realized all the beauty brands and all the influencers that were our clients out there they're all coming from Utah. And before we knew it, we had our top client put us in a U-Haul and told us to come out to Utah, and here we were.
That is cool.
So she was the talent of that agency, and I was kind of the marketing manager, the sales guy, just bringing in everybody, making sure all the clients were happy. As soon as we came out here, I was like, I don't need to work for that beauty brand. I'm going to do something else. So I chose real estate.
Okay.
And then I used what we did, all the creative that we did with our brand agency, and I just put that into real estate because you can.
Yeah. Okay. I love that you're combining the two, like the marketing, your past history with your real estate business, because you guys do well, now that I know your wife is a big part of that, you guys do a beautiful job. And we'll talk about that. So what year was this that you came here?
It was 2016.
2016. Okay. So you've almost been here 10 years.
Yeah. The day we got here, the very next day I was in real estate school.
Oh, no way.
So I had it pre-prepped and ready to go.
Wow. Okay.
Been doing it ever since.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. And then, so you've been licensed for 10 years, but when you got here, you didn't have this SOI that all the brokerages and teams teach. So how did you get the ball rolling?
Yeah, I knew nobody. Zero. So totally foreign place. But what I did know is that I liked Utah. I came here and was a little bit like, whoa, I've never even considered Utah to live in. And so I first started learning the area and learning that I actually really liked it, and acceptance was really, fantastic for us. We loved that the airport was in town and so accessible. We loved that the mountains were literally right there. In Colorado, they weren't.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You had to really plan your days out. But once I kind of got the lay of the land, and I got lucky, jumped into a really cool brokerage right out of school, and just got to learn their ways and kind of just jumped right into the scene a little bit. And then I started thinking of how to be creative, and a lot of that was back then. Instagram was still kind of in its infancy, so I got a little bit lucky there. I'd kind of started, with a brand agency. I had kind of started doing a little bit of, online marketing for myself, and I just decided to slip that into Instagram a little bit. And I said, you know what, if I can just be visual and start to teach people what I know about being creative and jumping into design and all the things that I'm really kind of OCD about, maybe people will pick up on that. And back then it wasn't saturated and it wasn't a algorithm either. I just jumped right into it, and people started catching on and started following me. And it was a little bit of it was a free way to market myself here.
Absolutely.
So I gained a decent following. Didn't become an influencer by any means, but was able to kind of make a presence. They're saying, "Who's this new guy in town?"
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So would you say your first deal came from Instagram?
You know, I don't know if it came from Instagram. No, my very first deal was actually a deal that another agent in my brokerage didn't want.
Oh.
So it was just, I said, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I was just one of those guys that I knew that, I came from a hardworking background. That's just how we do it in Nebraska. So I wasn't afraid of just jumping in and being that guy that was always in the office. And I would make sure I would take out everybody's trash, and I would make sure to hold their open houses or go do all the grocery shopping for them. I was just always around, always present. And eventually they started saying, hey, we actually need you over here. We need you to do this. We'll need you to drive around my clients on a Saturday or a Sunday. And I always said yes. I was always a yes guy. And eventually I got my first deal it was a trailer home.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to do it. And I said, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Let me take that. So, it was probably, back then, it was probably $100,000.
Manufactured home?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, but I did it, got it to the finish line, and that was my very first deal. So, come a long way since.
Well, you got to know. I mean, it's part of real estate, Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I don't discriminate one bit.
Yeah.
I'll take the smallest deal just to get my foot in the door. But after that, I will say that a lot of my deals did come from just online, and that's stayed true to this day. I've never actually spent money on paying for any leads, or it's always just been online or referrals.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, so I use Instagram just kind of like a online blog of sorts, and got a lot of attention that way. And people liked what I had to say, so I appreciate that. I really do appreciate Salt Lake and the surrounding area for embracing my style. You said it's different.
Yeah.
And they really have just given me a nice big hug.
Yeah.
So I want to give back to them.
I love that so much. And you're right. Utah is amazing. I wouldn't want to move anywhere else. I'm also from Scottsdale.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I moved here from there, and I am just amazed at, we're looking out the window right now and you can see the mountains. It's incredible here. So, but you are very like this artsy, like kind of like down to earth kind of vibe that I just love. And I love how hardworking you are. Because I mean, I think that has a lot to do with your success.
It does. There's a lot of agents that think that it's just going to come. And I knew that, hey, usually success doesn't come without putting in some effort. I've watched it. I've watched people come in and out of brokerages and they just sit in the corner or they don't show up at all. And that just isn't my style. I can't sit in a cubicle, or I just can't sit and be still. I have to be out and doing things. So if that's taking out the garbage for a fellow agent, that's what it is.
Oh, I love that. Okay. So tell us what a typical day sounds like, or like a typical day looks like for you.
You know, I don't have a typical day.
Okay. Well, and I know it's hard too, because it's like things that are popping up. And
Really what I love about the industry, I did the whole, try to go down. I worked for some really big companies and was in those carpet cubicles, and I just did not like the daily 9 to 5. So usually it's just get up and I take my daughter to school and, go to the gym. And then from the gym, that's where I office out of a lot of times. And I'll just take calls and I'll stay there a long time. And then I usually, answer all my emails, get caught up with all the addendums and the offers or whatever I'm having to do, and then start building my afternoon showings for the afternoon. And then, a lot of times I'm not home for dinner these days, but I'm thankful. Right now it's grind mode. Eventually I want to get back to that, but I'm still at the point where the phone is always on. I always answer. There's never a text that sits in my inbox for too long. I'm making sure that I'm wrapped up by the time I'm shutting it down for the end of the day.
Okay.
So, every day's a little bit different, but that's what I love about it. Just what client am I working with today and how can I serve them best? I'll adjust my schedule accordingly. But I do make sure there's me time and family time, usually in the mornings.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome that you get to drop off your daughter.
Yeah.
You have 3 kids,
Yeah.
and your daughter's your oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have twins?
I have twins.
Twin babies, kind of babies, right?
Yeah, my daughter Evelyn is 10 years old, and I was pretty happy with that. And then, her and my wife started teaming up and said, we want one more. And I gave in at my old age and said, yeah, okay, let's do one more. And then it's a blessing. We have 2. Yeah. It's really, really neat. Boy and girl, Oliver and Avril.
I love that.
So there is coming up on 2 years old. So we are very much in the thick of it.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful.
But again, Utah has embraced us so well. I don't see us ever leaving. Eventually, like I said, homestead back in my hometown or wherever, or, a little cabin back there. That'd be kind of fun. But as far as building, it's Utah.
Yeah. The foundation, building your foundation here. And it's just the family dynamic here is so great.
There's nothing like it.
I don't think so either.
Where is it?
Okay. So tell me about how, you do Instagram, and how do you stay in front of your clients and past clients?
So actually, usually just through Instagram.
Okay.
Honestly, that's how I do it. I have never been a systems guy. I've never had a CRM. I've never had any fancy softwares to stay in front of people or have a drip campaign. Honestly, kind of it made my wife very nervous at the start of this, but I call myself the anti-sales guy.
Anti-sales sales guy. Yeah.
So I know the job. I know that it's sales and negotiating and all the things, but I do it with a kind of a backed off stance. So I'm not in anybody's inboxes with newsletters, or, I'm not in, monthly text to them. I don't send them, little gifts here and there or anything like that. Even anniversary gifts, which, I probably should be better at that, honestly. I have a lot to learn, and I really would like to get to that point, but I just be genuine with people. I just be their friends. And again, because I haven't had to pay for any leads and they've been referred to me, or, I've just known them for almost 10 years now. I'm literally just friends with them.
Yeah.
And it all started online in Instagram. And so I follow them, they follow me. They're invited to anywhere that I'm going usually, if we're having an event, then they're invited. If there's something that's cool
Is this
that's
like a
happening,
work
then they're
event
invited.
or like personal event or
Personal.
personal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or work, it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
they're always going to be invited. I want them to always feel like they're, just a message away from me, and I want them to be included in my life. I blend my Instagram, it's both my work Instagram and my personal one.
I did notice that.
And so I'm just very real. So whenever there's a life event for them, good or bad, I make sure that I'm there or commenting, or or I will pick up the phone and call if necessary. But I just make sure that I'm there and visible, and that's how I do it. So I don't have any true systems other than that. I know that's very against the norm. Everything that I learned in school, it's not what I just said.
Well, you must be doing something like awesome because you have people that keep referring to you. And what do you think are some things that make you stand out against other people?
Again, I just try to be genuine. I just say it like it is. Oftentimes, that might be a little bit too much. But I'm friendly, I'm honest, I'm true, and I think people pick up on that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just, again, about the anti-sales thing, I think people are getting sold so many different ways. And when I came into Utah and I was, putting myself through school, I was assessing what real estate was. And, I'm not knocking on how people do their make their money and run their businesses. But the way that I saw, I was like, I could never do this. I could never be the guy that goes and knocks on doors. I would faint if someone actually opens the door. And I really don't want to be intruding on someone's day. So that's just my personality. I also, I would never cold call. I would never, it's just in the open houses. I don't wear name tags. I went to several open houses while I was putting myself through the schooling, and the name tag thing just wasn't it. I felt like they were, having people sign in immediately, and that was blocking their experience of feeling the home. And I just was like, I don't want that either. There's a, there's a popular store. It actually started in Nebraska. It's called The Buckle.
Okay.
Um,
The clothing store?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
when I was in the 90s, that was a big deal because it had just started and it was starting to go nationwide. But they were so overly salesy. I'll never forget it. I was in middle school, and what we did, we had a game that we used to play called the Buckle game. And we'd walk into the mall and we'd stand at the edge of the line, and we'd have to speed walk, hit the back wall, and get out of there without being approached by, a salesperson. And they would usually try to get you to buy, hey, this would look good on you, and we want you to try this on. It was very extra.
Yeah.
And I'll never just forget that feeling where just leave me alone.
Yeah.
The same thing going to the car lot. It's just, hey, let me just browse around a little bit. If I need you, I'll get you.
Yeah.
And that's how I think of real estate. Hey, follow me if you want, use me if you want, but I'm not going to be invading your personal space.
So that's kind of what's always stuck with you. Like, I hated that feeling, that chase energy. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
If we don't like that chase energy.
And, I think that's worked well. Now, some people definitely, they want to be chased. And again, there's plenty of agents that'll do that for them. It's just not my style.
Yeah. Not your style. And that's okay. All right. So let's talk about what are some creative ways that you've marketed listings?
I have a different plan for almost every one of them.
Every one of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of what I do, I'm just such a visual person. And so good photos, good video is key for me. And it really always has been. And it's been great with having my own brokerage now. There was a lot of in past brokerages. Again, it's great that they had their own ways of doing it, but there was a lot of just we're not comfortable with that. Now that I have my own, I can just do what I want.
Yeah.
Hire the people I want, send the message that I want, and I like that my clients are latching onto that and saying, "Wow, that's different. We want our house to look like that."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, with my branding, I don't know why, but my head just keeps spinning out new ideas, and I'll just see a house, and it's almost instant what it needs as
And
far
you're like looking at it like, oh, okay, we can do this.
yeah.
This would be a great selling point.
My wife says that I suffer from light bulb syndrome. And she's constantly having to break them off her head. But once in a while, there's been a few that have made us a little bit of money. So
Yeah.
she appreciates them now, but it does give her trepidation. But I just use that syndrome for the good of my clients' homes and sales. So right now, a lot of it is to do with video and just having fun with the home, showing the home alive is what I really like to do.
Oh, okay. I guess I haven't caught one.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to hit that like ring button for when you're doing something that I get notified.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Please do.
Okay. All right. Okay. So can we talk about this I don't know if it was your last one, but it was a listing you had. And I actually was okay, you're going to be really proud. I was at another brokerage and they were having a team meeting and they were just talking about your listing. And they were just saying, like, this guy thinks out of the box. Like, look at what he's done, And I think I've never seen anything like that for a listing, So can we talk about that listing?
Thanks, Joey. I think he did. He contacted me. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Great buddy. And he thinks outside the box too. Him and Molly are amazing.
Yeah.
Really appreciate them and their brokerage. But yeah, I've had some people say that, I've been on the whiteboard or, several times now. And so that's super flattering. Again, that's just Utah embracing. And I love that I'm kind of, not the norm, and that maybe I'm setting a new standard, and that does motivate me to stay ahead of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I need to always be pushing the boundaries, and that's just my style. I'm always going to be that guy. So, this last one, yeah, it's a big listing in Holiday, and with a developer that I've worked with a lot in the past, and I just thought, that we need to go extra. We're obviously we're going to stage it. We're going to make it super vibey. The open houses are, we're going to have a little bit more than the regular. But we also need to do events, right? And so the standard is a lot of, broker opens and things like that. It's my personal thought that, I've been to those, and again, it's just like same old. And I just need to party.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thing. And it's just, I just love in my open houses. Again, I don't stand at the door. I don't make anybody do sign-ins. I'm not Vanna White, showing the home and saying oohs and ahs and blocking the home. I'm letting the home become their home. And so I'll have the game on. I'll throw the channel changer to them and say, which one do you want to watch? And hey, let's sit down and, have a beer together. I'll hire someone to be cooking hot dogs out back, and we'll just do hot dogs and ruffle chips. It's just it's very low key. I'm not making martinis or anything like that. It's just like, hey, let's drink some PBRs.
Like, that's how it would be if this was your house.
And yeah, let's just sit out, hang it out back and throw some bags and, whatever the home, wherever I think I need to emphasize with the home, that's what I'll do. But I'll mostly make it, how would they probably live in the home?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of agents think, we watch these reality shows and we see all these bougie settings. That's not really how most people live. And, but a lot of people do, when I'm touring people around, a lot of what they want to say is, we want a home that we can host in. So I show them in open houses, hey, this home is being hosted. It can host pretty well. Let's try to magnify that a little bit. But this last party in Holiday, I went a little bit above, hot dogs and things like that. But I threw a big party, and it actually got bigger than I thought.
Was this at night?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it got bigger than I thought.
Yeah, it was basically a small wedding, so I'm not gonna lie, it cost a lot of money. But yeah, we had valet out front, and I had a step and repeat made and made people feel fancy walking in, and hired a photographer for that. I had my own media team run around getting footage of everybody, had bartenders, had a DJ.
Okay, you didn't just have a DJ. Your DJ was like up in the
the rafters.
Yeah.
We had a lounge.
I don't even know how to explain where he was.
He was up top, and that was just showing off the house again. So it's not often that homes have a full kitchen space we call it the grand hall, that can host a huge party. We had over 150 people show up to this thing, so it was
wow.
major.
Yeah. You had influencers there.
Yeah.
That's
again, it's just tapping into who I know.
Yeah.
And who they know.
Yeah.
And that helps. That's marketing.
Yeah.
So and we did go viral, which is weird. I've never done that, Wow. And on a major level, we were on the For You page on TikTok.
Wow.
And so I woke up with a lot of different messages saying, I can't believe I'm seeing you here. So that was a little scary, but it turned out all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the DJ was, he was on top. We have this lounge space that's literally over the top of the kitchen. So I had the bartenders down below, the DJ right up the top, and I had them kind of playing lo-fi to start it all, like let everybody kind of say, whoa, what is this place? And then I just said, go up. And he was listening to me, and eventually it turned into a dance party.
Yeah.
It started raining, and everybody came inside, and actually that worked out just fine.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. And then, okay, so you have this party, but then it was the marketing was brilliant. You had your hats, so your branding, you have all these people wearing them, photos. I mean, it just was, the house was beautiful and obviously cool and could host, it just was unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. And that's phase one. There's actually plenty more, this is a, 3 million plus home.
Wow.
And so I'm not just going to put it on the website, not just going to put a sign in the yard. I'm going to say, hey, we have a plan. Obviously, we want to sell it right away, but we know what market we're in. So I'm going to tell you, hey, we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, however long it takes, I'm going to be in it and willing to spend money. A lot of I think we got lazy during the pandemic years, and a lot of people forgot that they actually need to they need to market other people. That's what they're hired for. We're paid a lot of money. And we used to be able to just put a sign in the yard and collect offers, and it was fun. Sure, we had 30 offers to go through and say, look at all these that you have the option for it. But now, the buyers market, I don't blame them. They have a little PTSD from the pandemic years, and I feel like a lot of them are coming in. They realize that they really do like the home, but they're going to make you wait a little bit. They're going to make you earn their offer. And again, that I never lost that touch during the pandemic years. And so right now it's kind of just, it's been nice to just lean into it a little bit more than I've ever had to, though. So it's pushing my creativity, and I love it.
I love it too. Really. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And I am going to hit that follow button just so I can see everything that you're doing.
I don't post as much as I should anymore, because now there's an algorithm that shuts me down. But I was very fortunate in the past to kind of build my loyal following back in the day, and they're here to stay.
Yeah, you were kind of ahead of the game.
And that was just pure luck.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to it than that.
Yeah,
It's
you just
good.
jumped on the platform and
Yeah.
yeah.
Good timing.
Yeah. And I'm just telling you, you're very smart, and
Thank you.
I think the creative part of you and your wife is what really sets you guys apart from other realtors.
She's a great asset.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And again, I was not the talent. I just have all the ideas, and I say, "Can you put that
Yeah,
out there
can you
like
do
this? I want it to look like this, this, and this." And she rolls her eyes a little bit, but it turns out well. So
Yeah, incredible. Well, that's cool that you guys can work together. So does she work with you like full time, or is it kind of just like when you have
when I need her,
yeah, okay.
yeah, she's in full mom mode, and I
Okay.
need her to be that.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
an amazing person.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so what are some ways that you feel like you kind of, because you do have a family and you have a young family, and how do you feel like, is there a balance or not really?
Uh, Work home balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, I guess you kind of talked about it a little bit
I do have
earlier.
to. There's certain grind moments, and I let her know that I can take it a little bit easier now. I've had 10 years under my belt, and so now I can be a little bit more choosy, or you know, the I can I'm still always on though. I will say that.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to turn it off,
Yeah.
honestly. So there is a little bit of like, hey, I'm sorry. I know I just sat down at the table, but I'm going to take this call. And she knows that.
Yeah.
And she's such a good proponent for me. She knows that I need to do that. I need to do that for our family. Our Costco trips are expensive these days.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna work hard, and she's gonna make sure she's supportive of me, and that's it. So some months are busier than others, and we're thankful for those months. And then some months are slower than others, and we're also thankful for those months.
Absolutely.
So there's you know I can't say that I work in a balance. I just do my best.
Yes, do your best. Okay, great advice. All right, and I want to kind of jump back into this a piece of your marketing. You were talking about how you will invite clients to your personal and work events. What type of work events are these?
Well, throwing parties.
Throw parties. Okay, so like, did your friends get invited to the Broker Open?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course they did.
Or okay, the
Yeah.
open house.
Yeah, I sent out, and that's why I was like, we sent out, I don't remember how many, 175 invitations, and over 150 people showed up.
Wow.
Just wasn't expecting that ratio.
Yeah.
But people show up, and I was really appreciative for them, and, was able to shake hands and drink beers and catch a buzz with them. And that's just what I love doing.
Yeah.
I don't have many major events that's coming with the brokerage. It is young. I've been,
Yeah. Tell us about this.
it's been about a year since
Okay.
I actually started it. And I wanted to, it's just me, myself, and I right now. And I am looking to grow it for sure. I have a lot of interest, but I wanted to make sure that I was stabilized. I wanted to make sure that I had it figured out. I didn't want to put other people through, um, you know, the growth process.
The growing pains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've learned a lot of lessons, and I still am. I'm not the smartest guy out there for sure. Um, I'm just a creative guy, and I want to give people a good space to jump into, and I think I'm about there.
Yeah. I feel like you'll attract the right people that belong with you.
Yeah.
I really do.
At that point, we'll have more parties, we'll have more events. For right now, it's just, the work events, again, they're blended. That's just kind of how I do it. It's not strictly clients, it's whoever wants to come and hang out.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. So there was another group that I started. This is right when I got here, and I don't know if you want to go down this rabbit hole, but this is pre-pandemic, and I started a group called the Kind Sirs, and the Kind Hers eventually came out of it. But it just was me and knowing what my hobbies are. And one of my hobbies has always been fashion, and particularly I love vintage suits.
Oh.
And I just always have had a thing. It's just been a collection of mine, and I needed to not just be on Instagram. I needed to actually be out there and creating events. But creating real estate events can be a little bit, again, I just think that, okay, whatever. It's same old, same old. Same as a little bit as I see with Instagram real estate accounts specifically for that. There's so many that you can follow. You're kind of getting regurgitated messaging. And so I was like, all right, let's just blend the two. I am a realtor, but I also have all these hobbies. And so I just leaned into my hobby. I put it out there that, hey, I'm going to be hosting an event. I'm creating a group, and see if there's a lot of gentlemen in the hood that would respond to it.
Like-minded people.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. And the first event that I threw, there was 25 guys that showed up to her in full suit and boot and looking snazzy. And, I hired photographers and servers and bartenders and just made it look super nice, and always had them in special places. By the time I got to, I think, the third event where we did, I just did front row seats at the Jazz game, or like a front section of it. We had over 50 gentlemen there for the game, and we went to the Jazz game with all suits. We got to go down center court, got to be put up on the Jumbotron, given a tour. And so I had 50 guys in Salt Lake City that I previously didn't know. And that was a major boost to who I was, and I guess who my brand would eventually become. But I was the leader of that group, and the ones that was giving up and getting up and giving the speeches in front of them and toasting everybody and introducing everybody. And a lot of partnerships actually ended up coming out of that, just organically. And then, a lot of sales came my way organically as well. So it was a little bit of a work event, but more of just like, hey, I've always wanted to do this anyways.
Yeah.
And let's put something to it, give it a backbone. So the kind sirs, we said we were well dressed, well mannered, and well doers.
Okay.
So we always had a goal, someone that we were helping in the community. We did a lot of good, and it had some vibey events. We did whiskey and watches one time where we had the head of the Whiskey Drinkers Union come in and let us test his favorites. And then we had the head of Rolex come in and pass around a bunch of watches that we'll never, ever be able to afford.
What?
And so it was a lot of teaching, and then it was a lot of, just fun.
I
Just
just
the
think
days getting together.
it's brilliant that you're bringing, like, this is what I'm into. I want to find some guys that are like-minded, right? And building those genuine connections. And it's like something that you don't really have to like go out of your way, and that you're like, oh, I gotta go do this. It's like something that you're like, I'm stoked for this.
They were so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was almost to the point where, it was getting big enough to where it could become a business. We had Hugo Boss, and not just locally, but New York City, reaching out, wanting to market through us. And so it was really getting some legs. And then, then what I didn't realize was going to happen, but all the women started reaching out and saying, hey, we want this for us. So that's why I started the Kind Hers. And that was a much more ambitious project, once you get into women's fashion, but giving women just the opportunity to wear their best jewels and wear the gowns that, they never thought that they would be able to wear. And I was giving them, hey, we have red carpet, we have the step and repeat, we had a live music there. We had it was just also, it was sponsored by some big brands, and there was just a humongous turnout for it. And again, it was me at the helm of it all, which was great. But it was organic. Everybody getting to know each other. Everybody saying, "Oh, he's the realtor guy," and I got get a bunch of sales out of it, and they become really, it's not just sales, it's friends.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
it's your friends. Yeah. And they want to work with.
let's do another one of those.
Yeah.
I'll see you at the next one. Or, hey, let's go out and get dinner. And that's just how it works.
That's so rad. I just love that. I'm going to go like further in your Instagram and go look for all
And
these
that
things.
I will say it did get shut down with the pandemic, and it took a lot of energy. I should, again, that's something that I'll probably want to put on the docket to get back up.
Yeah.
But I've been busy. Twins are hard.
Get the boys back together. Yeah.
The twins are taking a lot of my extra time, and eventually I'll get back into the kind sirs and the kind hearse and throwing more events.
Well, I love that. Okay, so we're running out of time here, but I want to ask you, where do you feel like what does the future look like for you? I know you kind of talked a little bit about growing your brokerage and those types of things. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I think that's what the future does look like.
I know we talked about homesteading in Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, we'll ride off into the sunset one of these days. But for now, the grind continues.
Okay.
The brokerage is the number one focus. And then, I'll bring on some agents and make sure that, again, they have a stable work environment. Beyond that, I'll be also bringing on brands into the brokerage. So we're going to have a little bit of a collection, an umbrella, and just people that I think are really cool and vibey. And I want them to be bolstered by me.
Okay.
By my brand. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I can't wait to watch this.
I hope that the thing is there's so many creative people here. I love this place. And I just think, wow, like it's so different from me. Anywhere else that I've worked, there's just there's an energy here that I love, and the entrepreneurial spirit is really, really neat. The only thing that I've wondered about is that it's very separate. It's a lot of people, when I have these events, a lot of people know of each other, but they don't actually know each other. And for me, I'm a connector. That's what I want. So we're going to connect some people. We're going to bring in some people that we really want to work with, and hopefully they'll want to work with us. And we're not going to put any training wheels on them. We're going to say, actually, how can you take what you have now and lift off? And we're going to try to help them. So we're just going to be in the office somewhere brainstorming, or in the bar brainstorming. That's all we're going to do, and hopefully work together and create a kind of a package deal where I think eventually people will say, what the hell are you guys?
I love that.
And that's okay. So that's kind of the initial thought. My wife and I we're already starting on that process, and we have contacted several brands, and we're just going to be piecing that together and figuring all of that out. So that'll be fun. Beyond that, there's other opportunities. As far as real estate goes, I'm going to still keep doing it as I've been doing it. I do think that it will get fun to eventually start doing it for myself. Getting into homes and not so much flipping them, but bringing them back to what they should be.
Oh, I love that.
I think that is one thing I've seen a lot. I'm in a lot of homes, and a lot of them, I think during the pandemic, it was just a shotgun race, and everybody was flipping and making money and doing the thing. And it was just turn and burn and turn and burn. And I just want us to get back to, let's put some time, let's put some effort. Yeah, it'll cost a little bit extra money, but let's give this house a reward. Yeah. We don't want to downgrade it. We want to upgrade it. Maybe it needs to go back to what it was in, 1930.
That is so
Let's do that. Let's have some fun, and let's work with the right people that can do that. And we don't have to be so, these homes, a lot of them, there's just not a lot of effort. There's not a lot of love. And so eventually I'd like to do that. And hopefully it'll also be a lucrative opportunity. You got to work with the market.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
But that's kind of the hope.
All right. Well, Joseph, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people follow you?
Pretty much branded across the board at Crowhop.
Okay.
So it's crowhop.com. On Instagram, it's at Crowhop. And then on TikTok, it's at Crowhop. Facebook,
Okay.
Crowhop. My personal page is Joseph Tuenge, which is JosepHTUenge.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where I mostly am.
Okay.
Everything else is just, sitting and waiting. But follow me nonetheless. I'd love to chat with you.
Yeah, go give him a follow because this guy he's making moves. So I appreciate you, Joseph. Thank you.
I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you. Thanks for reaching out to me, and thank you, Utah.
Yeah, of course.
Love y'all.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please rate us, like us, and share this podcast with our real estate community. The Nova Show Real Estate Record, sharing raw stories of real estate, failures, lessons, wins, and successes. This is all from Novation Title, bringing a different experience into your world so that we can all uplift each other. Until next time.